Polaris is an organization that's dedicated to combating human trafficking and to restoring freedom to survivors. We run the National Human Trafficking Hotline for the United States, and we're also a systemic and social change organization whose end goal is to eradicate this crime. Human trafficking is profiting from the control and exploitation of others. We think that there are 25 major patterns of how trafficking manifests itself in the United States. Think of it as 25 types. And this happens in the commercial sex trade, it happens in labor or service sectors, it happens to men and women, adults and children, and it happens to immigrants as well as US citizens.
The hotline basically connects victims or survivors or anybody else calling in their place with resources that may be in their area. So we might be connecting them to service providers that can offer them emergency shelter, or service providers that can offer them counseling service or transportation assistance. Making sure that we're giving victims and survivors anything they may need to get out of their situation or to readjust their lives after their situations.
This case I had a couple months ago, there was an 18-year-old who called while her trafficker was out for a little bit. She only had 20 minutes to talk. She wanted to stop engaging in commercial sex. I was able to get her to leave the location, get to somewhere public, somewhere safe. After hours of working on this case, I eventually got her connected to law enforcement and a shelter for the night and a long-term plan for what she's gonna do next.
I was able to assist a family in locating their daughter, and the daughter was extracted from a situation and people were taken into custody.
Lo único que necesitas es querer ayudar y querer ser el lazo entre la solución y el problema.
I've worked here for a few years now, and I've seen cases where maybe I took some of the first signals. Those cases, there have been convictions. One of our first texting cases that we had led to an extraction, and that case was now going to trial, and the survivor is testifying against her trafficker. It's cool to see that long-term impact. Para mí, trabajando en el equipo aquí está muy bonito porque todos tenemos nuestras fuerzas.
We work with different people from different backgrounds, different education. Hay una sensación de bienestar que es muy peculiar dentro de la hotline, que uno solo podría llegar a entender una vez que forma parte de ella.
It's nice to work in a place where you feel supported, that you genuinely enjoy who you work with, and that you can lean on each other. There's been many times where an advocate might be dealing with a crisis situation and there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different layers and barriers, and it's a really complex case. And we'll have advocates that are chatting and messaging and offering support.
A neighbor will lean over and say, "Are you okay?" Take a deep breath. It's just an incredibly supportive environment.
Creo que es bastante valioso aprender un poco más sobre la trata de personas y también sobre que en esta hotline, en este lugar, con este grupo de personas, tú puedes llegar no solo a aprender más, sino también marcar una diferencia dentro de toda tu carrera.
I think people gain a ton from working at Polaris. One is top-notch training and learning about the issue, seeing the national ecosystem of the field and all of its moving parts and how they all fit together. So you really get to see the big picture, and benefiting from knowing that you're impacting people's lives and really living with a sense of purpose.
We get a lot of calls, and it seems like sometimes you don't really know the outcomes, but deep down inside you do know that you are actually helping people get out of their situations or finding people in the area that can actually assist them. Knowing the fact that you are helping people is probably the best part. It's very rewarding.